She taught the world to dream above the clouds. A teenage voice carried "Over the Rainbow" into history, and a small girl in a blue gingham dress became the emblem of hope in a trembling century. On screen, Judy Garland's smile glowed like a promise. Off-screen, the promise kept collecting a price. Inside the studio gates, every gesture seemed measured, every calorie counted, every hour accounted for. She learned to perform not only before cameras, but before clocks, contracts, and a regimen that told her when to be bright and when to disappear. Letters would later whisper of nights too long for sleep and mornings too short for rest, of a heart that could fill a theater yet feel alone in a dressing room mirror. People believed in Dorothy because Judy made the dream feel real. But what really happened to the girl who carried an entire rainbow on fragile shoulders? What did she surrender so that the song could soar? Before the world knew her as the girl who walked the yellow brick road, Judy Garland was Frances Ethel Gum, a shy child from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, born into a family of vaudeville performers. Her voice, clear and trembling with innocence, drew crowds long before the cameras ever found her. By 13, she was swept into the dream factory known as MGM Studios, where stars were sculpted from youth and discipline. There, her name was changed, her smile rehearsed, and her image built like a fragile monument to American hope. The Wizard of Oz would make her immortal. Dorothy's red slippers became a national symbol, and Judy became Hollywood's new heartbeat. But behind the curtain, the studio demanded perfection, thinner, brighter, happier. Every flaw was to be erased, every emotion scheduled. The lights that made her shine also blinded her from what was real. To the world, she was a symbol of joy. To herself, she was a captive of her own legend. For Judy Garland, fame wasn't a gift. It was a contract written in light and shadow, one that promised eternal applause, but silence when the music stopped. Before she was Judy Garland, she was a little girl who sang on dusty vaudeville stages with her sisters, her shoes worn thin from endless performances. Frances Gum's gift was undeniable, a voice too big for her body, too pure to belong to a child. In 1935, MGM saw her not as a girl, but as a product, a melody they could mold, a dream they could sell. They renamed her Judy Garland, and from that moment, she stopped being herself. The studio polished her like a diamond and placed her among giants: Spencer, Tracy, Mickey Rooney, Clark Gable, yet she was still treated like a child they needed to fix. Her teeth were capped, her nose powdered to appear smaller, her diet controlled to the ounce. "You have to stay little," the executives told her. "America loves you this way." Then came The Wizard of Oz. She was 16, exhausted, and terrified she wasn't beautiful enough to be a star. But when she sang "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," the world stopped. The song was more than melody, it was longing. It was truth. The girl from Minnesota had become the beating heart of Hollywood. But while audiences dreamed of Oz, Judy was already losing herself in its illusion. Fame came fast, and it came cruel. MGM had found their jewel, and they protected it like a machine guards its power source. The studio controlled her meals, lettuce soup, coffee, and black pills to suppress hunger. To keep her awake during shooting, she was given tablets that made her heart race. To make her sleep, she was handed others that shut her mind down. "They'd take me out of one room," she would later say, "give me a handful of pills, and tell me to go perform." Under the glitter of sequins and the warmth of spotlights, Judy began to crumble. Her friends noticed her trembling hands, her sleepless eyes. The laughter she gave the audience began to sound rehearsed. Hollywood demanded a perfect Judy Garland every day, smiling, shining, flawless. What it never asked was how much it cost to maintain her glow. By her early 20s, she was already trapped between exhaustion and expectation. Her heart wanted to rest. Her contracts refused to let her. The same voice that made millions dream was starting to echo inside an empty shell. MGM didn't see the warning signs, or they didn't care. To them, Judy wasn't a girl anymore. She was a brand that could not break. When the studio finally released her, Judy tried to build a life of her own, but the stage was the only home she knew. She fell in love recklessly, desperately searching for someone to see her beyond the fame. 5 marriages followed, each one began to Lady Gaga, from Sinatra to Streisand, carried pieces of her in their art. She became a symbol not just of talent, but of the cost of chasing perfection. Hollywood's golden age, once wrapped in glamour, now bore her shadow as a warning. Behind every dream machine lies the heart of someone paying its price. Even today, when Somewhere Over the Rainbow plays, there's something haunting in its beauty. It isn't just hope, it's longing, loss, and the ache of a girl who taught the world to dream while forgetting how to rest. Maybe Judy never found her rainbow, but she became one for the rest of us. Fame is a mirror. It shows the brilliance that dazzles the crowd, but it also reflects the cracks that no one wants to see. Judy Garland lived her entire life caught between those two reflections. The world saw a radiant star singing about a place where troubles melt like lemon drops, but inside, her troubles only grew heavier. Hollywood adored her innocence but punished her humanity. In the end, Judy's life became the truest expression of her most famous song, a longing for peace, for home, for rest. The yellow brick road was never meant to lead her to Oz. It led her into a system that valued illusion over truth. Yet somehow, through pain and exhaustion, she transformed that illusion into art that endures beyond time. Her laughter still echoes in old reels. Her voice still trembles with the same ache that once filled her heart. And somewhere, between light and shadow, Judy Garland remains not as the perfect girl MGM created, but as the fragile soul who showed us what it costs to make the world believe in dreams. She made the world believe that dreams could exist beyond the rainbow, but her own story reminds us that every dream has a cost, and every star casts a shadow. Judy Garland's life was a song, beautiful, broken, unforgettable, echoing through generations that still search for meaning in fame and freedom. What do you think was the dream worth the price she paid? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and tell us which legend you want us to uncover next. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every week, we reveal the untold truths behind the brightest lights of Hollywood. Fame and shadows. Every star has its story.